Hi everyone and welcome back to Zayshin Podcast, where we explore fashion that speak to purpose, culture, and conscious living. I'm your host, Afreed Bud, the founder of Zayshin, a brand rooted in sustainable elegance and storytelling. Today, I'm truly honored to be joined by a powerful voice in the sustainable fashion world. She's an author, she's an educator, a vintage queen, Bridgette Ortiz.
Yay!
Yeah, founder of Born Again Vintage, House of Bove, and Sustainable Fashion Week US. Bridget, thank you so much for being here to kick things off. What's been exciting you lately in the sustainable fashion world?
Say the most exciting thing lately is probably seeing the number of the younger generation getting involved in the movement. I think that's about as exciting as you can get because I feel like that's the generation that could kind of take us out of the fast fashion
Yeah.
movement that we've been in for so long. I think they're the one that could completely take us out of it.
I'm one of them.
Yes, you are.
I'm one of
And I'm proud of you guys. You guys are doing some real work.
Of course, thank you. That's what I'm thinking. I got into it, and now my mission is to bring more people into this so we can make a community and work on the things that you guys in the sustainable fashion been a long time, so we can continue with that or help in this industry to
I believe in y'all.
Yes, thank you so much. So yes, that was a quick intro, and also I would give you, not give you. It's just please tell about yourself, a little bit about your background, so the people who are here, so they get to know you a little bit.
Sure. So I've been in sustainable fashion before it was called sustainable fashion, roughly 23 years ago. So
that's a flex, actually.
It was. I mean, we called it eco-friendly and green back then.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I think that's part of our issue now too, is having to complicate things with all these different terms and sustainable fashion, ethical fashion, circular fashion. It's like, you can't get simpler than being sustainable. And I think that they made it so increasingly difficult to understand what it is.
Yeah.
And it makes people kind of draw away from it when it's something that's very natural for us. But okay. So I've been in it for 23 years. I started as an upcycler. I'm self-taught. So as a designer, that's the only way I've ever designed. I've done it any other way. It came very natural for me. First time in a thrift shop, I bought a whole bunch of vintage stuff. I chopped it up, turned it into something else, and then people wanted to buy it. And, that's all the clue that I needed to know that I could keep going in this direction.
Wow.
And then it was my my customers basically that would say, well, Bridgette, I love your brand because it's eco-friendly. So I'm like, what's eco-friendly? I'm doing it because it felt good and I was passionate about it. I had no idea the impact that it had. So then once you, kind of dig deep and start to research, then you're horrified. And then you feel like you kind of have to, just like you said, now you have to kind of bring other people in. You got to spread the word. You got to, share the information, because I was mortified when I found out all the horrors of fashion. Mm-hmm. And I was a straight up Bloomies girl, prior to, this switch. So, once I found out the information, I felt like it was my job pretty much to spread that information. And then next thing you know, Random House asked me to create the book, which was definitely something I did not anticipate. And making a book put me on the map in 2008 as, a very early upcycler. As I like to say, I definitely wasn't the first upcycler. Mm-hmm. But maybe the first to turn it into a business. Yeah. Crazy enough to do that. So 2008 is when the book came out, and then it's been, just one thing after another. Once the book came out, then the classes started. And once the classes started, the store opened. After the store opened, and Sustainable Fashion Week. So it was very organic, but it was definitely, I feel like I've been led, because this was definitely not something that I had planned at all. At FIT, I went there for buying and merchandising, so I did want to be a buyer, but I did not want to be a designer. That wasn't something I was thinking about.
I see. No, that is so beautiful. Actually, you answered me my first of two questions, but how you got into this journey and how you started, and the second thing because I'm actually so much interested to know about how did you write the book. You explained how you started that, so I'm gonna ask the following question, which I have for my personally, which is you were not so long in that space when you wrote a book because you were fairly new, like 5 7 years. So
Right.
how much knowledge in the meantime when you were writing a book you already had, and what was the challenges to find the correct information that you could write in the book, and how did it increase your knowledge when you were writing the book?
Well, I mean, I think this is a great example of how much of a newbie I was. So when Random House proposed this to me, they said, just send us a proposal. We'll have a meeting with the editors and yada, yada, yada. So I put together a proposal, and it's like, maybe like a first grader did it, because I'm like, copy and paste pictures. and they were and they were like, maybe we should get you an agent. And so they
Okay.
got me an agent. So that's how, newbie I was,
Wow.
as far as that's concerned. And but once they proposed and told me what they wanted to be about. So my brand was Born Again Vintage, but at that time it was my tagline. So my original brand was BRT's Originals, and Born Again Vintage was a tagline. So they wanted it to be Born Again Vintage.
Wow.
And so they wanted to do 25 ideas of upcycling. So, that was easy for me because even though I've only been in that space like 5 years, but like I said, it was very natural for me to cut up stuff and turn it to other. I didn't even know it was a talent that I had.
Yeah.
So it was very easy. The only thing is I was a little nervous because here I am, a newbie, and then I'm giving out 25 ideas. So, my friends had to encourage me, like, are you crazy? Of course you're going to write this book, It's like, the way you come up with these ideas, you could come up with 25 more. It's just like, so I was like, oh, okay, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
So they got me a ghostwriter.
Okay.
Jen, an amazing lady from Miami that I got to spend time with. And so basically I put all my ideas together. I wrote them out, and then she would kind of edit them.
So how long it took you to write the whole idea with the all process, meeting people, with the ghostwriter and all that?
So I guess from the minute we had that lunch where she proposed it to the minute it was out, I would say it took a year and a half.
Okay.
Not that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think it took long.
Yeah, for a new person, I think it's a great opportunity. And I heard all the time that people have ideas or they write a book and they don't find the publishers or they don't find the opportunities. But I think you got very lucky, and especially you put in the work.
Oh yeah. And lucky is an understatement. Yeah. And not only that, but even I had to send the pieces that I was going to use for the book first, so they could take pictures of them, and then they sent it back. Then I upcycled all the pieces, sent it back to them. And, so I had nothing to do with the styling, the models. So when I actually saw the book, talking about like jaw to the ground. So the stylist actually for the book, did real magic, because I just did it was the prettiest book I've ever seen.
Wow.
It was so pretty.
Yeah, that is so interesting. Now we hopefully, God willing, the next podcast will be going all your, book session, the 25 is, because I read a little bit. And those 25 topics still relevant right now, even in 2025.
Yes.
And I love the book title that you have, and you were telling me that it was your tagline, Born Again Vintage. It makes so much sense that you can bring the old fashioned that everyone is doing. When we're getting in the trends, you're bringing old fashioned in with some new types.